Thanks very much, Killybegs, and I would like to thank the Ceann Comhairle for allowing this topical issue to be taken today. Minister, the School of Tourism of LYIT is currently located in Killybegs, in what was formerly the CERT Training College in the town. The college has been providing high-quality training in the catering and hospitality industry for over 40 years. And many students have won international awards for the standard of their expertise in the cookery field, and I think that has been widely recognised. In recent years, the CERT School amalgamated with LYIT, and this, it was understood at the time, would secure the future of the college and ensure that there would be growth into the future. But unfortunately, this hasn't come to pass as yet. Currently, there are approximately 180 students at the Killybegs campus. The college not only provides for school leavers through the CAO system, but also has a large cohort of part-time adult learners who are reskilling themselves and hope to participate in the tourism sector. The campus in Killybegs also provides training in the renewable energy sector, with the first training tower of its kind in the country located on site. This provides training for maintenance personnel in the wind energy sector. I am aware that a number of companies have looked at the college with a view to using the facilities as a training location. Killybegs, as you know, Minister, is the largest fishing port in the country, and this is also involved in the oil and gas exploration sector and in the importation of wind turbines for the renewable industry. The high-level group report on job creation in Killybegs, launched by your colleague, Minister for Agriculture, Food and Marine, Simon Coveney, in Killybegs on June 2011, envisaged a vital role for the Tourism College in the future development of the town and the surrounding area. There are a number of key actions in the report that will help with the development of the whole of South West Donegal if brought to fruition, such as the development of a seafood innovation hub, the development to develop and consolidate the LYIT School of Tourism as a key resource for the region, and establish Killybegs as a centre of excellence for the green economy. At the moment, the LYIT board are drafting a 5-year financial plan for the institute, and I believe that it is under consideration to relocate the School of Tourism to the Letterkenny campus, and this will seriously undermine the viability of the Killybegs campus of LYIT. There is a serious urgency in this situation because, as I understand it, the plan is due to be delivered to the Higher Education Authority before the summer, and I believe that this could signal the end of the delivery of tourism courses in Killybegs. While everyone understands that there is a need for education and training to be cost-effective, closing the Killybegs campus will have a severe setback for the whole of South West Donegal, with the withdrawal of a vital education resource. It would also make the continuation of the adult learner facilities in Killybegs unviable and remove a resource for many underskilled and unemployed workers to improve their educational attainment and contribute to the growth of a viable tourism sector, which, because of government policy, is one of the only options available in Donegal for job growth. The School of Tourism is the linchpin that is keeping the rest of the facilities at the Killybegs campus going, and if it is removed, it will reduce the viability of the entire campus. LYIT may have financial difficulties. Recovering student debt is probably one of the biggest problems. But removing the School of Tourism from Killybegs will ultimately not solve their problems. But it will hamper the recovery and development of a large part of the county and remove a huge tradition that has been in the hospitality and tourism industry for many years. Surely LYIT has a role in delivering and participating in the development of the entire region. For this reason, the Killybegs campus should be seen and supported as part of that remit, developing in the tourism, food and renewable energy sector for the future of everyone in the North West. I call on you, Minister, to ensure that the Killybegs campus continues to play a full part in that role. Thank you.
Minister, to respond, you have 4 minutes.
Okay. I want to thank Deputy Pringle for raising this issue. As the Deputy will be aware, the Tourism College in Killybegs is a school of the Letterkenny Institute of Technology, which is an autonomous statutory body, and the management of the college is the responsibility of the governing body and the president of LYIT. The department allocates recurrent funding to the Higher Education Authority for direct disbursement to the HEA institutions, including LYIT, and the HEA allocates this grant to institutions for free fees and core grant funding and other specific earmarked initiatives. The HEA uses a recurrent grant allocation model to determine the amount of core funding provided to each institution, and it is then a matter for the institution to determine how this funding is allocated internally and indeed locally within the region. All higher education institutions are facing very real challenges to both cope with declining state budgets and also rising student populations. Institutions must also reduce staff numbers in line with the employment control framework for the sector. Core staff numbers in higher education institutions were reduced by 9% between December 2008 and December 2011, while during the same period overall, full-time student numbers increased by 12%. Staff numbers have reduced by a further 1.5% at the end of 2012, and further reductions will be required. It's a matter for each institution to work within a balanced budget and achieve best value for money, and the HEA has committed to working with those institutes who face particular financial pressures in the coming year. And of paramount importance is the need for an agreed strategy to ensure that institutions can continue to meet the needs of students, employers and other stakeholders in the regions. I understand that the HEA has requested a financial plan from LYIT covering the next 3 years, indicating the strategy to be used to address financial issues at the Institute. This plan has not been received by the department yet, and indeed there has been no indication as to any specific proposals concerning the future of the Killybegs campus. The HEA is undertaking a study on the sustainability of the current funding system for higher education, and an initial report has been published which makes it clear that immediate work is required to prepare for a longer-term approach to a system that can be maintained through a sustainable funding base, which will be able to address the continual expansion of the sector while protecting quality of education. The HEA is continuing its work in this area and will be advising the department further as this work progresses. The report will then help to inform the decision-making as to the future funding of the sector. As the Deputy is aware, the HEA published Towards a Future Higher Education Landscape last year. They invited submissions from institutions and commissioned expert analysis with a view to providing the Minister with formal advice on an outlined future configuration of the higher education system, and that advice is now under consideration. In terms of regional development, the HEA has advised on the development of regional clusters of higher education institutions, which will allow programmes of teaching and learning to be better planned and coordinated, resources to be used more efficiently, and more flexible student pathways and better progression opportunities to be put in place. Regional clusters will build on the explicit value placed on collaboration between Irish higher education institutions in recent years, and will create a more stable and indeed more permanent arrangements between institutions within a region. Negotiated agreements between institutions within a cluster will allow for the elimination of unnecessary duplication of provision and provide for a much more coherent offering to students in the region with good pathways into and between institutions.
Thank you, Minister. Deputy Pringle, if it's supplementary for 2 minutes.
I would like to probably be able to thank the Minister for his response, but I don't think it goes any way towards alleviating the concerns that have been expressed. And I think the one thing that probably you could take from the answer is that the fact that the HSE are carrying out their sustainability study, and they are looking at how the future funding of third-level institutes will take place in the country. And I think it's, even on that basis alone, I don't think that any college should be making decisions now that will affect the future of the campuses under their control. And I think for that reason, LYIT should be encouraged and told to sustain the provision of education that they have now in the current situation while they await the outcome of the study and reports, and then we can deal with that when the time comes. But it is vitally important, Minister, that for the recovery of large parts of the country, that these courses are maintained in the area where they have been for many, many years. And the Killybegs campus can and will play a very important role in recovery and development of the entire southwest of Donegal. But it will only do that if the services that are there and the education courses that are there at the moment are maintained there, and a plan put in place to ensure that it can grow and develop into the future. And I would call on you, Minister, to impress that on the Higher Education Authority and on the LYIT Board of Governors to ensure that this can happen for the future. Thank you, Deputy Minister.
Yeah, just the Deputy may be aware that the significant level of cooperation is already ongoing between a number of institutions in the region. An alliance agreement was signed in July of 2012 between GMIT, LYIT and the Institute of Technology Sligo, and that commits already the partners to developing significant and indeed meaningful collaborations on a comprehensive range of activities. So that cooperation is already underway, and hopefully it will lead to a far more fruitful use of scarce state resources and offer students a number of different and interesting options in terms of their education for the future. But again, to make the point to the Deputy that higher education institutions, all of them, such as LYIT, they're responsible themselves for the internal allocation of the funding provided to them by the HEA, and ultimately the decision in relation to the future funding of that tourism college in Killybegs rests with the governing body of the LYIT.